Thank you so much for joining me today, Carly, or I guess I should say thank you for having me at Cosmic since you teach yoga here.
Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Beautiful. Well, we get to talk about a topic that is, I know, really close to your heart. We get to talk about pre and postnatal yoga today. Can you tell me a little bit about what a prenatal class would look like as opposed to just, say, a regular studio class?
Yeah, so I guess it's really nice to see a lot of health professionals now recommending yoga to mums to do during their pregnancy and to support them. And so if you've never done yoga before, you might be forgiven to think that you can then just walk into any yoga class and be accommodated, but really it's quite different. So in a, say, regular studio yoga class, if the teacher hasn't had that prenatal training, you might find that you're not completely supported or completely understood. And there are actually some postures and poses that contraindications through pregnancy that can cause a bit of stress to the mum and to the baby. So prenatal specific classes are designed to nourish the mum through this time, to help with her ever-changing body, to help her really feel connected to her baby as well. So in that supportive environment and with other mums too.
Yeah, I think that that's really lovely as well, the idea of this community of other mums who are going through something obviously very similar. What you mentioned contraindications. What are some poses that, say, in a regular class that you might not do in a prenatal class?
Just for example, like lying on your belly is a no when you're pregnant, and a lot of our poses, you might find that they able you to lie on your belly, and so we don't generally do any of those type of postures in a prenatal class. And in saying that, it's also very intuitive for a mum to know that that doesn't feel good, like coming and lying on your belly restricts the belly and feels uncomfortable. So naturally she doesn't want to do that. So we provide other options. Even lying flat on your back can restrict blood flow between the mum and the baby. Deep closed twists are things you need to worry about as well. And also we developed this hormone called relaxin during pregnancy. And so there's this risk of overstretching. So it relaxes the connective tissues, and which is really great during labor, and we want to soften, but in everyday life we need to be careful that we don't overdo that, and we talk about this a lot during our prenatal classes as well.
So if a mum came in and was just like, oh, I just feel super bendy and I feel like I can do the splits now, what would you suggest that she do?
If you couldn't do the splits pre-pregnancy, we wouldn't be looking at doing the splits during pregnancy to reduce that risk of overstretching. So not over pushing, not overdoing. It's a really time to really nourish and tap into that body and that knowledge. Yeah.
That really makes sense. Also, what about, I know that you use pranayama and meditation as well in prenatal yoga. Can you tell me why this is?
Yeah, I think you can even link those things as well into the labor, into birthing, whereas the asanas, the postures, are really used to help strengthen and stabilize and give the mother confidence of moving her body in a certain way that feels really good, that she might remember from her yoga mat that she takes into the room. And this is the same with meditation, helping her to drop into her body, connect with baby and its movements. Even if things are happening around her, it's going to give her a tool that she can call upon if she feels it's needed. And then pranayama is something that I love working with in all my yoga classes. I think it's super important in all areas of our life. But we always hear about breathing in labor and how important breath is. So by giving a few different tools in the pranayama, it helps them to then again recognize when they might need to do that in their labor.
Beautiful. Yeah, I think it's probably best to have as many tools in your toolbox as you possibly can going into labor.
Yes, absolutely.
So we've talked a lot about prenatal. What about postnatal? What would be the difference coming into a postnatal yoga class?
I guess so the main obvious difference is postnatal, the mum's now had her baby, and usually it's about 6 to 8 weeks, but it's very different for every mum and her birth experience and what her health professionals recommend. But she'll come to class after she's had her baby, and I think it's really nice to call on your village and get that support network around you. And I like to think that yoga teachers can add to that as well. And so coming in We often run mums and bubs classes, so the baby comes with mum, and as well as working with her to strengthen and heal the body and still, again, coming back to that reconnection with herself, we incorporate that with the baby as well, and through class we can have multiple babies at once and a lot of different things happening, and it's all part of the environment.
That really sounds amazing. It sounds like a lot of fun actually to be teaching and to be in that class too. And I guess the women would then also potentially, they could have met some of these women in prenatal yoga and moved on to mums and bubs as well, creating, I guess, that bigger community again.
Absolutely, and it's nice to see those mums that do carry that through, because the babies experience this yoga world within her belly, and then it continues to experience some of those things outside, and it becomes part of its natural world as well.
How do the babies react to the yoga environment?
Every class is very different. We might have some mums feeding, we might have some mums changing, or babies being really active and awake, or some sleeping, so it's always very different, but it is nice to often see as we all settle in and drop in, you can feel this shift in energy in the mum, and also that then carries over into the baby as well.
That's amazing. That's really special. So you are going to be teaching a pregnancy yoga class, a prenatal yoga class with the lovely Rachel, who is pregnant. The class is going to be kind of a little bit faster than it would normally be, but really looking forward to that, looking forward to you teaching that class.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to that too, and just to show just some kind of idea of how you can still have a full yoga practice, even though of some of those contraindications we spoke of.
Well, thank you so much, and I will see you in the pregnancy class.
Thank you.